guys, it's Shadow the Rat, and for today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can treat your rats for parasites. Now, I'm going to be using the medication Revolution for this. There are a few other medications you can use to treat your rats for parasites, however, I have not personally used them, and Revolution is considered to be the safest and most effective one, so I'd recommend getting it if you can. Revolution is prescription only in many places. For example, I'm in the US and it is prescription only here, which means that you either need to get it from your vet or buy it from out of country. Personally, I have done both, but because I've dealt with parasites a lot in my rats, I have gone ahead and started to buy it from out of country simply to have it in stock for when I need it. So if you would like to buy Revolution for yourself and you live in an area where it is considered prescription only, I will go ahead and add the link to the place that I buy it from so you can check it out if you would like to stock up. With that being said, before we get into treating the rats, I do want to briefly talk about what symptoms parasites tend to bring up in rats. So the most common symptoms for parasites are just the rats scratching themselves a lot. You'll often see scabs on the back of the neck or the upper back. And as the parasite infestation gets worse, you'll sometimes see it on the bottom of the back or the belly or just all over the rat. Depending on the parasites, you also may see them get scabby ears or tails. All of these are signs of parasites and mean the rat needs to be treated. Now, it is important to note that oftentimes only one rat will show symptoms in a group, and if this happens, you still need to treat all your rats, including rats in other cages in the same area, and this is because parasites are often asymptomatic in rats, meaning they don't show any symptoms, but they still have them, so it is important to treat them all, even if only one rat is showing signs. The final thing I want to go over before we start treating the rats is that if you have hairless rats, you do still need to treat them. This is a question I see come up from time to time, and even though hairless rats cannot have certain parasites live on them, they can still be bit. And so if they live in an environment where the parasites are living, especially if they have other furred friends who are infested, then they will definitely need to be treated as well. So you can treat them the exact same way as you treat furred rats, but I just thought I'd add this in there because I do see this question asked quite a bit. Okay, so moving on to how you treat your rats, the first thing you want to do is get yourself some cat or kitten Revolution. Now, the Revolution I'm using in this video is the kitten puppy version. However, I recommend getting the cat version because it has larger vials and more medication for a very similar price, so it's just better bang for your buck, so to speak. You can also go for the dog version, however, it does have a different concentration than the kitten, cat, and puppy version, so usually just to be safe, we do recommend the cat, kitten, and puppy ones because they are lower concentration. That being said, Revolution is extremely difficult to overdose in rats, so you pretty much don't need to worry about that. But again, to be safe, it is good to stick with the recommended treatment dosing and just use the kitten, cat, and puppy ones when available. The final thing I want to add here is that you don't want Revolution Plus. It has an added ingredient which makes it less safe for rats. You just want the base level Revolution. Okay, so getting into how you treat your rats, it's very, very easy. All you need to do is take one of these vials and take a safety pin and poke the top of the vial so that you create a tiny hole. Now you want to do this instead of cutting it with scissors because you are only going to need a few drops at most per rat. Now how many drops each rat needs is going to depend on their weight. So if your rat is under a pound, which is under 450 grams, then you are going to give them just one drop. If they are between 1 pound and 2 pounds, they need 2 drops. If they are between 2 pounds and 3 pounds, they need 3 drops, and so forth. So as you can see, you're just adding an extra drop per extra pound. And rats are not usually over 2 pounds in my experience. Sometimes they are, but it's pretty rare. So you're likely only going to be giving them 2 to 3 drops at most. And with my rats, they are between 79 grams for my smallest dwarf and 425 grams for my largest standard girl. So all of these rats are under 450 grams, and so all of them are going to be getting just 1 drop. Okay, so to actually start the treatment process, you just want to take one of your rats out, then part the fur on their neck, and then place however many drops they need on the skin. Once you've done this, you want to distract your rat for 30 seconds or so, just giving it time to absorb into the skin, and then you can put your rats back together. Now, it is important to note that your rats can ingest Revolution safely. It's completely fine if they lick it and eat it. However, it needs to mostly absorb in order for it to be effective, so you do want to make sure that you give it a little bit of time to absorb before you release your rat back with their cage mates. And the reason we put it on their neck instead of somewhere else is simply because that is a difficult area for rats to groom, so it's not as easy for them to access and get to the Revolution as opposed to, let's say, if you put it on their arm. Now, after you do one rat and the Revolution has absorbed, you can then put them back and do the rest of your rats in the exact same way. And when they're done, they will have a sort of alcohol-y scent. This is completely normal and nothing to worry about. It's just what the medication smells like, and it will go away pretty quickly. Okay, so that is pretty much it for treating with Revolution. It is a very effective medication because it kills parasites in all life stages, meaning it kills them as eggs, larvae, and adults. So you don't have to worry about treating them multiple times like with other parasite medications, because unlike other parasite medications where oftentimes they only target adults, Revolution does target the other life stages as well. This means that you also don't need to do a ton of deep cleaning. You can, of course, clean the cage, and I would recommend doing so, but you don't have to go crazy on it because your rats will kill off any parasites as they walk around the cage, which is just super useful. Now, Revolution covers your rats for up to a month. However, if you're dealing with a really bad infestation, you may need to treat again after 2 weeks, in which case you will treat your rats in the exact same way you saw here. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!